we're here on a compliance hearing following an order to participate. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the children. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the mother, Mrs. Fuller, who is with us. That's everyone involved in the case. I have one person in the waiting room, and that is Kendra Castillo Bates.
That is my caseworker, Your Honor. If she could be allowed in, please. And who are the children?
Maverick, Jace, Madison, Jaden, and Jackson.
That's okay. And there's an OTP in order to participate on Ms. Fuller. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Can you tell us how Ms. Fuller is progressing?
So far, we've got her enrolled in services. She did a psychological evaluation through Stonebridge. That was on October 9th. She had an intake screening with daily recovery on the 11th of this month. She did not qualify for outpatient due to her alcoholism. It was served as being a isolated event. And so she was referred to Padre for their drug risk education. And that referral was sent out on the 13th. She's also doing parenting classes through Charity Bennett and individual counseling, as long as with the older children too. Yes, ma'am.
Kendra,
Yes,
there's a lot of feedback coming from your area. I don't know if you've got another screen open with our video or if somebody is nearby, but I'm having trouble understanding you, and so is the court reporter.
Okay, sure. Okay. Sorry, I'm with my supervisor.
I'm going to ask you to repeat your answer. I think the court reporter said she got up to the parenting classes with, I don't remember who it was.
Yes, it was through Charity Bennett. It's a 12-hour advanced parenting class. And then she's doing individual counseling through Recovery with Melissa Lawson.
Now, going back to that psychosocial, were there any recommendations in that psychosocial that are not already in order of the court?
So the only thing that was on this psychological evaluation was the referral to DWI education, which she should be receiving through her probation once all of that is finalized. And then also the drug risk education through Padre, which that was referred on the 13th of this month. I sent that referral in.
Okay. I think you mentioned that there had been a substance abuse assessment. Is that correct?
Through daily recoveries. Yes, ma'am. That's what was done. And that was where the referral came in through Padre. That's what was recommended for her instead of the outpatient program.
Has Ms. Fuller been drug screened since the order to participate was granted?
Yes, ma'am. And it was negative.
Okay. Now, in regards to the alcohol screening, was she alcohol screened as well?
Yes, ma'am. And that still has not posted. I've been in touch with the lab. They've sent everything off. It's just not posted yet on our side.
Okay. So
I'm just waiting for that to come back.
And how are visits to the home going? How's the family doing when you make those visits?
They're doing well. The kids are doing great. Christina, she does great with them. She really does. Grandma's still going over there. She's actually been going over there every single day. She stays there longer than the hour that she's supposed to be there. But everything so far is going great. There are no concerns at this time.
Okay. And did the previous order have you visiting that home twice a week?
Yes, ma'am, which we've been doing. Yes, ma'am.
Are you wanting to continue those twice a week visits?
Right now, I don't think it's needed. The family is doing well, but if you guys want me to, I mean, that's not an issue at all. I can do that without a problem.
Okay. And how are the children doing?
The children are doing well. Jace is actually in the midst of getting into ABA therapy. It's analysis, behavior therapy. And so we're waiting on that. Christina still needs to send over some paperwork for that to get done. Once that's done, he will be able to get into that program.
Okay. Do you need anything else ordered by the court in regards to the children?
No, ma'am. The oldest two are doing counseling as well with the same therapist as Christina.
Okay. That sounds great. And is Ms. Fuller cooperating with the department right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bates, are you satisfied with Christina's progress?
Yes, sir, I am. So far, like I said, this month, she's starting to get everything done for her services.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Yes, Your Honor. Kendra, do you believe it is necessary for the court to continue the order to participate with Ms. Fuller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Your
All
Honor,
right, go ahead.
no more questions for this witness.
All right, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, the department rests. We do ask that the OTP be continued.
All right, do you want a compliance hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could set one. Kendra, do you want it 2 to 3 months out?
Yes, about 3 months. Yes.
3 months. And are we asking the court to shorten your visits to once a week or continue twice a week?
Once a week is fine.
And Your Honor, we're also asking to have the FBSS worker in the home once a week instead of twice.
Okay. All right, Mr. Michelson, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses. We rest your.
Okay, Mr. Ingram, anything to recommend?
Just continue for now with the order. Kids are doing well. No issues, no concerns.
All right, then. Okay, then I will order that Ms. Fuller continue to work the services that were previously ordered, as well as anything that has been recommended by the psychological. And I will order that the FBSS worker can visit once weekly rather than twice weekly. I'll set a compliance hearing for January 22nd, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or so in advance to see exactly what time that hearing will take place. Ms. Fuller, it sounds like you're off to a great start. You're getting things done in a hurry, so congratulations on that. We are here on a compliance hearing. We will stand in recess to participate. This is a TFF case. Ms. Wiggins is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the children. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the mother, Miss Osborne, who I don't show is with us, and no one is in the waiting room. Mr. Michelson, were you expecting your client?
I have not had contact with Sierra since the last hearing. I tried to contact her, but I didn't get a response.
Okay. All right, then. Okay. All right, then. This case was set for 9:30. It's 9:35. We'll proceed in Miss Osborne's absence. Ms. Wiggins, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. I call Sarah Gonzalez
And
Williams.
how is Ms. Osborne doing on her services for the department?
She's actually doing pretty well with the family center treatment. She is working diligently with them on ensuring that her home is sanitary. That was one of the issues that we had in the beginning of the case. Her home has improved significantly. Every time I've gone, her home is clean, and she is working on a daily cleaning chart with them. And so she is ensuring that the home is sanitary with that. As far as services that she is court ordered to do, she has just now initiated her counseling, individual counseling with Jennings Counseling. She has an appointment set for November 7th. It's taken her a while to initiate that. I've had to ask her multiple times to do that. She is also working with the FIS worker to initiate TPC with mental health services. I'm guessing they had the wrong phone number. And so I did give that phone number to the FIS worker so they could initiate that service for her mental health evaluation to address some of her depression. She did drug screen for us this month, and she tested negative. One of the other services on her plan was to do daily recovery if she did have any positive drug screens. And so far she's been negative, so we were not having to worry about that issue. She has been meeting with me with no concerns. We have an open line of communication, so she's been doing really well with me. We did help her get a new refrigerator. There was some concerns with the refrigerator that she had currently, with some roaches getting into it. And so the department was able to help her through one of the local churches get her a new refrigerator. So that has helped the family very much. And so she is working with both the FIS worker and myself very well.
Okay. And it sounds like things are going well, but maybe progressing a little slowly. Is there anything that the court needs to order today for additional services to help with the family?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And are the children doing well?
The children are doing well. We did have a new report come in last week of concerns of lice and a diaper rash. We did address that concern last week. I was able to get the family some lice medication and spray for their home, as well as we did observe that there was no rash on either or any of the children. And so we are able to address those concerns. But yet she's been working on trying to get rid of the lice for the kids. But other than that, the kids look great. They look happy, well bonded to mother.
Okay. Are they in daycare?
We've been trying to get the kids into daycare. Mom is lacking some of the documentation needed. She's working on trying to get some shot records for Joshua. He was in foster care previously, and she's been having some trouble getting his shot records, but I've been trying to help the FIS worker work on getting that.
Okay. And where are they staying when mom is working?
They've been staying with her sister or her father.
Okay. And those are approved placements by the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anything else that the judge needs to be aware of today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Judge, we are asking for another hearing to be set, compliance hearing. Sorry, I'm just checking to see when the 6 months are over. It looks like February, so I would say maybe early December if possible.
All righty. I've got a December 11th.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Wiggins?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right. Ms. Williams, is the mom still living with the maternal grandmother to these kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Mr.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's right. Mr. Michelson, any questions?
Just briefly, have the department's concerns been addressed?
We are currently working on them. Yes.
Okay. And you're satisfied with her progress?
Yes.
Has Sierra's number changed?
I'm not sure which number you have. I have a number that was given to me by the previous worker, so I can give you that
Email
number.
that to me?
Yes.
Okay. That would be great. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Ingram, any recommendations?
Just continue with the OTP. Kids appear to be doing okay. My report, she's not real forthcoming with a lot of information, but best we can tell, the kids are doing fine.
Okay. All right, then. I will order that Ms. Osborne continue to work the services as previously ordered. And I will set a next compliance hearing for December 11th, 2023. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing. So parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or so. Mr. Michelson's with us representing the father, Mr. Morphus, who I don't see is with us. And Ms. Naranjo is with us representing the mother, Mrs. Morphus, who is with us. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Morphus. I think that's you right in the corner. So yeah. Okay. He's with us too. I just couldn't see him. Okay. That's everyone. I have an Erin Tyndall in the waiting room.
She's my worker, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, I
we'll
call
get her.
Erin Tyndall.
Okay.
And how is she doing in that placement?
She is doing good. Had a little bit of adjustment, some anxiety about being in a new place, but overall she's settling in good, made some good friends.
Okay, great. And it does appear she is on medication. Are those being monitored every 30 days by a physician?
Yes, they are.
And has she been told that she is old enough to control her medication, or at least have a conversation with the doctor if she's concerned about them?
Yes, we've had a conversation about her child rights before she went to Piney Ridge.
Okay. And have you talked to her about if she feels like her medication is working for her?
I've had a brief conversation with her. She only gets 10 minutes when she makes a phone call. And so the brief time that I could talk to her, she did say that she feels like it's doing what it's supposed to do. She does not feel any major side effects from it.
Okay, great. And is she being able to have, or is she able to have communication with her parents?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And I know there was an issue at the beginning about getting that communication set up. Is that set up now?
Yes, it is set up with everybody on her contact list that she needs, that needs to speak with her and that she might want to contact as well.
Okay, perfect. And does that include Carrie Ingram, her attorney?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Okay. In regards to the parents, how are they communicating with the department?
They absolutely are.
Okay. And did we create a service plan to help with the reasons for removal?
Yes, we did.
And what are the services being requested of the parents?
In this case, just because of its nature, it was a little different. It's mostly stay in contact with me, update me on any changes with them. The only service that they really need to complete is just individual counseling and couples counseling. And I have that set up with Recovery there in Amarillo.
Okay. And is there anything else that they need to do for the department other than staying in contact and doing that counseling?
Being a part of Rose's treatment, they are going to start family counseling with Rose virtually, and then they will be included in her treatment plan meetings going forward.
Okay, great. And let's see, regarding Rose's placement at an RTC, was that the least restrictive alternative for her placement?
Yes,
And was there an RTC that was available in Texas that could meet her needs?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, and so that's why she had to be placed outside of state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Do you believe that it's in her best interest to remain where she is?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe it would be contrary to her welfare and the welfare of the others in the home for her to be returned today?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Michelson.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ingram, any questions?
No questions?
All right, Ms. Wiggins, any other witnesses today?
No, Your Honor, we didn't have anything else.
All right, Ms. Naranjo, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, and Ms. Morphus is in agreement to working those services.
Okay, all right, and Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses. We rest.
Mr. Ingram?
Judge, I believe it to be in Rose's best interest for the department to continue as temporary managing conservator, continue her placement as is. I didn't get to personally talk to her, but Andy talked to her. She seemed to be settling in well at her placement, did discuss her meds with her. She expressed some concern about some side effects, but I think she had just started on some new meds, and Andy encouraged her to obviously talk to the doctor if she felt like those side effects did not go away or if they were interfering with anything. So hopefully she's in a good place and can work on the things that she needs to do, and we can get the family therapy started before too long.
Okay. Rose, anything you want to tell me today?
No.
Okay. What are the side effects that you were having with your medications?
They just make me feel sick sometimes.
Okay, just kind of nauseous, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't make you sleepy where you want to sleep all the time, though, things like that.
I'm just a regularly tired person, I think.
Okay. Well, you're seeing your doctor who prescribed those meds. I don't know how long you've been there. How long have you been in Arkansas? Roughly.
Since the 12th of last month.
Since
Okay.
the 12th of last month.
Have you been able to see the doctor who's prescribed the meds, or?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. And you probably heard this, but you are old enough to have some say so in your meds. So you've got to be real forthcoming with that doctor to let him know what problems you think you're having. So, and if it gets bad enough, let Mr. Ingram or Miss Orno or anyone with the department or St. Francis, we can always order another evaluation if it comes to that. But as long as you're being open and honest with your doctor, we'll see how that goes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else from anyone?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. Continue, I'm sorry, the department and the parents as joint managing conservators. I'll continue Rose's current placement, and I'll order those limited services for the parents that were talked about, the counseling and the individual couples and family counseling. So, okay, our next hearing will be on February 5th, 2024. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. Rose, you're always welcome to attend these hearings like you are today. Just let anyone know, Mr. Ingram, Miss Orr, or anyone with St. Francis or the department, and we'll make sure that you're able to attend the hearings, okay? All right, then. Okay, that will conclude this hearing. With us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the children. Mr. Anho is with us representing the mother, Miss Hall, who is, well, she's in the waiting room. Sorry. I'll get her in. And then Mr. Jackson represents one of the alleged fathers. I'm sorry, he's been adjudicated. Mr. Alexander, the father to Skylar. Mr. Jackson's not with us, nor is Mr. Alexander. Mr. Hall is an alleged father as to Samantha. He is not with us. And Mr. Gonzalez is an alleged father to Bryson, and he is not with us. So we've only got 15 minutes set for this, so we're going to proceed in their absence. I have Shay Grant and Wendy Wells in the waiting room.
Now, Shay, are all three children placed together?
They are currently
Okay. And what type of placement is that in?
a foster home
In what city or county?
in Panhandle.
Okay. In Panhandle, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, can you give us some details on how Samantha is doing in that foster home?
Samantha's doing well. She likes her placement. She's doing good in school. She's passing all her classes. She's not on any medication or anything. She's enjoying being in the band. So she's doing good.
Okay, and how is Skylar doing in that placement?
We actually received a 30-day discharge on Skylar, September 19th. Due to his behaviors, he was becoming physically aggressive with the foster parents and the other children in the home.
At this time, is he still located at that same placement though?
He's still there. We have a therapeutic foster home in Lubbock that's ready to take him on the 19th this week.
Okay, thank you, Shay. And how is Bryson doing in that foster home?
Bryson's doing well. He's in pre-K. He likes to go to school. He gets along with the other kiddos. He takes cetirizine for seasonal allergies as needed. Other than that, he's doing good.
And is Skylar currently on psychotropic medication?
Yes, he is.
And what is that for?
His ADHD.
Okay, can you please explain what led the department to approve that?
To approve Skylar's medication?
Yes.
He was diagnosed with ADHD. He's had evaluations through the school as well that he needs that medication to help him with his behaviors and his hyperactivity.
And has he had any major incidents since, or recent incidents since being placed with the department?
A few weeks ago, Skylar was upset. He didn't want to follow the rules of the foster parents, and he did run out of the house and across the street. He just took off. They did run after him and got him back to the house safely. He wasn't hurt or anything.
Okay, but it sounds like foster home has struggled to help him manage his behavior. So would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay, and is that medication going to be reviewed every 30 days by a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Now, is the current placement making sure the children's daily needs like food, shelter, and medical care are being met?
Yes, they are.
Additionally, are they meeting the children's educational needs?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, in regards to the parents, have you prepared service plans?
Yes.
Who did you prepare service plans for?
Tabitha Hall and Joel Alexander.
Now, is there some question as to whether or not the correct David Hall and correct Raul Gonzalez were included in the suit?
Yes.
So at this time, are we not asking for any services to be ordered for those two gentlemen?
Correct.
Okay. Now, as far as the service plans for Tabitha and Joel, do they aim to mitigate the reasons for removal?
Yes.
Are they uniquely tailored to the issues in the case?
Yes, they are.
Can you very briefly summarize the issues in the case for the court?
The biggest concern is supervision for Skylar. Since he continued to get out of the house, he was found, by bystanders or police officers. So our biggest concern is supervision for Skylar, as well as for Samantha. She was the babysitter, or supposed to be, watching after them, but.
Okay, now in regards to Tabitha, can you name one or two services that are uniquely tailored for Tabitha?
Parenting classes and individual therapy.
And can you name one or two services that is uniquely tailored for Joel Alexander?
That'll be parenting and individual therapy for him as well.
Tabitha visiting the children?
Yes, she is.
How are those visits going?
The visits are going good so far. They all engage with each other. She's showing she's participating well and getting along. Everybody's getting along.
Okay. And is Joel having visits with all three children?
Yes, he is.
How are his visits going?
They have visits together, so they're all participating. They're all bonded very well to each other, and they're going good.
Are Tabitha and Joel having their visits with the children together or separately?
together.
Are we asking the court to make those service plans in order of the court?
Yes, ma'am.
And are we asking for any type of drug screens today?
Yes, just UAs.
And which parents are we asking for that on?
Tabitha Hall and Joel Alexander.
Thank you. Do you believe it would be contrary to the children's welfare to be returned to the parents today?
Yes.
Do you believe it would present a physical or emotional danger to the children's safety if they were returned today?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Grant, has Ms. Hall expressed to you that she's starting her parenting classes today?
I did get a call from Padre, who's doing her parenting. They are needing some consent signed before they can start her classes, but she is supposed to start.
And did she also complete the psychological evaluation already?
The psychosocial, she did.
Okay. And has she also expressed some concerns to you regarding Bryson and potty training and changing his diaper?
Yes, the kids were at a dentist appointment, and they called and said that, or Tabitha called and said that Bryson had pooped on himself and they didn't have any extra pull-ups for him or anything to change him while they were at the dentist. I did call the case manager, who was also there, and she said that they did have extra pull-ups and wipes for him, and they changed him in the car in the parking lot before they left.
And is placement making efforts to get him potty trained since he is 3 years old?
They are.
Is the department opposed to increasing Ms. Hall's visitation since she has been working services?
I would like to see them a little deeper in their services before we increase.
But would you be directly opposed to increasing visitation to 3 hours?
No.
And I'll pass this.
Ms. Naranjo, are you asking just for Ms. Hall's to be
Yes,
increased?
that's correct, Your Honor.
Not Mr. Alexander?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right. Ms. Gutierrez, any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, the department would like to call Tabitha Hall. Thank you. Ms.
For the
Hall,
record, excuse me, for the record, Mr. Jackson has just joined us. And apparently Mr. Jackson has his client with him. Is that right, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct, Your Honor. I apologize. I had the wrong ID number for this.
Okay,
meeting.
all right. For the record, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Alexander have now joined us. So go ahead, Ms. Gutierrez.
thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hall, you had previously identified the father of Samantha as a David Hall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in what state are you guys from?
California.
Is that where Samantha was born?
Yes.
Okay. And does the David Hall that is her alleged father, does he still reside in California?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen or heard from him since February 1st, 2019.
At that time in 2019, do you recall what city or state he lived in?
He lived in Atwater, California when the last time I seen him.
Are there any prior orders out of California on Samantha for something such as child support?
No.
Okay.
I've never received child support for any of my children.
Okay. Did you ever go to court for child support on Samantha?
No, I went for just custody and that was it.
Okay. Did you receive orders regarding custody?
They would not give me full custody because they could not find him to serve him.
Were you able to get any orders or did they end up dismissing the case?
The only thing they did was give me my divorce. I was doing my divorce and custody at the same time. But that was all it took me 3 years to get my divorce finalized.
Can I ask, the person you divorced from, is he one of the alleged fathers of the children?
That is David Hall, yes.
Okay, so you have a divorce from David Hall then?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a copy of that divorce order?
Probably not. I lost all of my stuff moving. I don't know where it would be.
Can you tell me what county in California that divorce order was out of?
Merced County.
Can you spell that for me?
Merced.
And do you know approximately what year?
I want to say 21. I think 21, November of 21 is when it was finalized.
Was that during the pandemic?
I can't remember. It's been so long.
Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about Bryson. Bryson is 3 years old, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and his alleged father, you identified a Raul Gonzalez, is that correct?
I didn't identify him, but yes, that is correct.
Okay, can you tell me what city or state Mr. Gonzalez lives in?
No, I cannot because I don't know.
When did you last have, I guess, a conversation with him by text or phone?
One moment. Let me pull up my text. The last text message that he sent me was November 20th, 2020.
Okay. And what state was Bryson born in?
California.
Okay. Did you ever go to court on anything for Bryson?
No. Raul's never been in Bryson's life. He's never met him. I offered to meet up with him so he can meet him, and he just kind of ghosted me. So yeah, he's not welcome in my son's life.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hall. Without answering the question, but only answering yes or no, can you tell me if you have a date of birth or age for either David Hall or Raul?
David, yes. Raul, no.
Okay, how old, is it a date of birth that you have? Because I don't want you to say that over the live feed, but do you have his date of birth?
David, yes.
Okay, can you give that to the caseworker after today's hearing, please?
Yes, but he is a registered, no, he's not registered, but he is not allowed in my kids' life either. He is a child rapist. So please don't be finding him and telling him where I live. That is why he's no longer in our lives.
Well, I will let you discuss with your attorney the ramifications of that and those requests as well, okay? Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Anho,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez, any other witnesses today?
No other witnesses, Your Honor. We do rest. I do feel the need to share with the court that we are obligated to, and actually the court knows this, we are obligated to try to find the parents. As far as not providing information on Ms. Hall, I don't know what that request would look like, Your Honor.
Based on what she's told me, I'll just order that her contact information is not to be filed in this case. That should take care of that. Yeah, Miss Hall, if we can locate him, we have to locate him and serve him. That doesn't mean he needs to know where you're at. So
that's fine, but the police, he's wanted. The police have been looking for him for many, many years and still haven't found him. So if you guys find him, put him in jail. I'm like,
okay. Yeah. All right then, Mr. Jackson, Shay Grant testified, basically just said that mom's doing her services, got things set up. And that your client has been adjudicated, so they've created a service plan for him. Do you have any other questions for Ms. Grant since you weren't with us when she testified?
Yes, sir. Just briefly, if I could, please.
Okay.
Ms. Grant, it's my understanding that Joel and his wife, they're making the visits together. Is that correct? Seeing the kiddos?
Yes, sir.
And those visits, are they going all right? Going well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's my understanding that Skylar is about to be moved to a therapeutic home in Lubbock. Is that correct?
Yes.
And of course, the parents are going to have to split up their visitation. Would you be opposed to either would you be opposed to these parents having more visitation at this time? I think they're getting 2 hours now with the kids.
Right.
Would you be opposed to
No, but the same that we talked about for Tabitha, I would like to see them further into their services before we increase.
Okay. Mr. Alexander also asked me to request some electronic communication between he and the kids. It's my understanding that they get that with Samantha, but they're not getting it with Skylar or Bryson. Would you be opposed to that?
No, they should be. Samantha does have a phone and they're allowed certain times to call and talk to them. So I can check with foster parents and make sure that Skylar is in on that as well.
Okay. And then finally, I think Mr. Alexander possibly had been talking to you all about trying to get the kids together or make something happen for them to be able to take the kids out trick-or-treating. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, they talked to their family support worker to see if they could go trick-or-treating or to a trunk or treat on Halloween, since their visits are on Tuesdays and Halloween's on a Tuesday this year. We were not opposed to that. We were okay with them doing that. I know the concern was Skylar may not be able to attend that since he's moving to Lubbock. I did let them know I would do everything I could to make it possible, but I couldn't promise that he would be here for that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your help. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have.
Okay. Ms. Hall, I had one question for you. I forgot to ask you. You said you had a text from Mr. Gonzalez in November 2020. Did he state where he was at that time?
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Accidentally.
Okay.
So,
my question was, did you know where he was in November of 2020 when he sent you that text?
The only thing he sent me in the text is he just got back from Mexico. That is what he said.
Okay. So he didn't indicate where he was, though.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, then anything from anyone else? All right, then. I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator. I'll continue the kids' current placements, knowing that Skylar is going to be moved. I think Shay said on the 19th of this month to the therapeutic foster home in Lubbock. I'll approve that placement. I'll order the services for Ms. Hall and Mr. Alexander as contained in their service plans. And I will order UA drug screens for Ms. Hall and Mr. Alexander by 4 p.m. today. Are you in Amarillo, Ms. Hall?
I'm in Canyon.
Okay, all right. Both of those then would be at Carrot Express in Amarillo. And it sounds to me like things are going pretty well. So I'll order that both Ms. Hall and Mr. Alexander's visitation be increased to 3 hours weekly. All right, then, Ms. Hall and Mr. Alexander, I need to admonish you that the services contained in your service plan become a court order today. At a final hearing, if you haven't worked those services, your parental rights could be altered or terminated. Do you both understand that?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Our next hearing will be an initial permanency hearing. That will be on February 12th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket to see exactly what time that hearing will take place.
Judge, if I may.
Yes.
Once Skylar is moved to Lubbock, I do not believe it would be in his best interest to be transported back to Amarillo for visitation. I think the parents should either visit him virtually or they need to go to Lubbock.
Yeah, no, he's with the issues he's having. I agree with you. So that we'll do it either. They can go to Lubbock if they choose to, or the St. Francis can set it up for virtual. Following in the order to participate. Okay, that will conclude this hearing. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the children. Mr. Jackson is with us representing the father, Mr. Lovelace. I assume Mr. Lovelace, is that you with Miss Clay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lovelace is with us, and Ms. Naranjo is with us representing the mother, Miss Clay, who is with us. So that's all of the parties. I have Wendy Hooks Wells in the waiting room and Elaine Lucero.
Can I have Elaine Lucero in, please, Your Honor? That's my word, Your Honor. The department calls Elaine Lucero as its witness. Okay. And can you very briefly summarize the reasons for the department's involvement?
The department became involved after concerns when Aiden had overdosed, had been taken to the hospital, and there was methamphetamines found to be in his system.
Okay. And an order to participate was granted. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Now, since working with the family, how has Jared progressed on his services?
He has done well, from receiving updates from Wendy, who's the FIS worker. It's reported the family's meeting with them twice a week. He's also been involved in daily recovery, which is an intensive outpatient program. I know there was a couple of weeks, I received some information that he did miss these last couple of weeks, but prior to this, he's been active. I know that he did recently started a new job. He obtained a job that he had prior, and it is more money for the family. So I feel like maybe that may be causing some issues with him being able to attend. But outside of that, I mean, he's been testing negative for us. He's done fairly well on his services.
Okay. Are there any services that have been recommended by providers that have not yet been made an order of the court?
No, ma'am. Not to my knowledge. No.
The daily recovery intensive outpatient program, is that already an order of the court?
I believe there was treatment ordered, but it wasn't, I don't believe that it was specified, that program.
Okay, just a moment, Your Honor. Let me review the prior order. Your Honor, it looks like a substance abuse assessment was ordered in the OTP, but not a specific drug treatment program.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Elaine, since the drug treatment was not specifically ordered and the order to participate on Jared, are we now asking the court to make that an order of the court?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the program? What's the program?
It's daily recovery.
Okay.
And that's the intensive outpatient treatment program?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Lucero. Now, in regards to Allison Clay, how is she progressing on her services?
Allison she's also been involved with the FSI worker in meeting twice a week. We referred her to counseling. She did complete one session. That we really had asked her to do that after an incident with Chloe, where Chloe was admitted to the behavioral health unit. And so Allison was really struggling with that. We did ask her to start counseling. She completed a session, like I said, and has since said she does not feel that she needs to continue in counseling. And so, you know, I've kind of talked to her about what she's been doing with the FIS worker. She feels like what they're working on has been helping her and parent and in coping with the situation with Chloe. And so she just basically felt that she didn't need further counseling. I did refer her to an online parenting class. She has a login to get that started and has said that she was going to start that here soon if she hasn't already over the weekend.
Now, is it correct that that individual therapy for Allison was included in the order to participate for her to complete?
That when I looked at the order, I wasn't sure if it was in there. I believe there was some counseling for her and Jared, and I let her know, especially for Jared, that it was important for him to complete that.
Your Honor, we asked the court to take judicial notice that individual therapy is included in the order to participate.
So noted.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Now, Elaine, have we received any referral or recommendation from the individual therapist for mom to be released from therapy or not continue from therapy?
I've not received anything of that nature.
Okay. Does the department have a position on whether or not they want that individual therapy to be completed as previously ordered?
I do. I mean, I feel if that's in the order, then we need to just move forward with that, just to ensure that she's receiving the services that she needs.
Thank you, Ms. Lucero. You mentioned that Chloe had been psychiatrically hospitalized. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you, Your Honor, can we go off the live feed on YouTube just because we're discussing the child's psychiatric health?
Sure. Okay, everyone's in. Miss Wiggins, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. I'd call Andrea Lewis.
Okay.
And how is Jazmine doing?
She's doing okay. There's been some, oh, behavioral issues since the last court hearing. Sarah had reached out to the department about these behaviors and what their next steps should be. When I have met with Jazmine, she seems kind of down. She has interest in going to counseling, and so we've been trying to sort out her counseling. The school was not able to facilitate like we had discussed at the previous hearing. And so she didn't really have the rapport and relationship she was wanting with the counselor that she was seeing, Stephanie Doughty. And so I had reached out to Melissa Lawson, who was going to start doing family therapy with them, and asked her to reach out to Sarah and Carmen, the other adult in the home, about setting up individual with Jazmine just to get her going while we're trying to sort next steps out. She's doing okay in school. I know there's been some behaviors at school, back talking to teachers. She'd gotten in trouble on her computer for trying to access like social media on the school computer. And so she has very limited use of her school computer. She can only use it for her assignments. It doesn't come home with her. It's something that they're working on with her at school.
Okay. And it does look like she's on some medication for mental health. Are those being monitored every month?
Yes, they are actively seeing Dr. Mendoza. I know they increased her ADHD medication. Jazmine says that she feels like it is working, and then they made some adjustments to sleeping meds for her, and she tells me that she is sleeping better at night as well.
Okay, great. And obviously she's old enough to tell everyone how she is. Is she good at communicating about her medicine?
Yes.
Okay, good. In regards to the report, it does look like it, or I know it says that they're trying to look for a placement for Jazmine outside of the home. Is that something that's still actively going on?
Yes, ma'am. They completed an application with High Plains Children's Home. High Plains does need a psychological evaluation to go along with that so that they can look at the application and also see the diagnosis and kind of what the child's needs are. Jazmine did have a psychological evaluation on September 27th with Brenda Meeks, and I have been reaching out to her since then, and we do not have a complete report yet. But once it is received, I will hand it over with Sarah's permission, of course, release it to High Plains so that they can review it. And I spoke with someone there today, and they told me that once they have the application and they're able to look at the evaluation to see if they can meet the child's needs, they'll have a meeting with Jazmine, of course, Sarah, me, if they want to include me, and kind of talk about what they could do for her. And then if she's accepted, placement can take place 7 to 10 days after that meeting. So that's really all we're waiting on is the evaluation.
And generally, how long does it take to get those evaluations?
It can take anywhere from 10 to 14 days. So we're getting very close to it being a little over 2 weeks since she had her eval.
Okay, because it sounds like she had her eval September 27th and it's October 16th.
So we're about 18 days out, 19 days out. So
okay.
I know Brenda did tell me she had to go out of town on a personal matter, so it did put her behind.
Okay.
And so I've tried to communicate stuff to Sarah because Sarah has asked about it as well.
Okay. Can you just let me know if you don't get it from her? That way, if I need the court to intervene, which I doubt, but if I do, just let me know.
Yes. And I did email her again this morning and told her that we really need it because we need to know the next steps for this family.
Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm. In regards to Miss White, the mother, is she able to do services online or virtually?
She has started her parenting classes online, but Sarah's health has not been good. She had to have surgery end of September. And so she's been kind of limited. Her communication with the department has been fine. That's not an issue. I have not put a whole lot of pressure on her about services because her health has not been good, but she's communicating with me about Jazmine, what's going on with Jazmine. She reached out to me asking for help, getting Jazmine to the appointment because she was in the hospital. That's been fine. So we're really just kind of waiting on this. I did give the counselor Carmen's number also. She's the other adult living in the home because I knew Sarah's communication might be limited with her not feeling well, so that they could get Jazmine started on counseling.
Okay, great. And it sounds like we're offering rides if that's necessary as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Let me interrupt.
Uh-huh.
Ms. White just entered the waiting room.
Okay.
Ms.
And
Williams, you may proceed.
thank you, Judge. Sorry about that. Ms. Lewis, are you, has Jazmine been informed of the fact that we're looking for an outside placement?
Yes.
Okay, and is she understanding of the situation?
When I talked to her about it, I asked her, have they talked to you about that? And she said, yes, but we're not talking about it anymore. I didn't know how to take that. I didn't know if she just didn't want to talk about it or if they had not talked to her about it recently, but that was around the time that Sarah was very sick and having surgery and those kinds of things. But she has been told that they are looking for possible placement options for her outside of the home.
Okay. And it sounds like she does, though. Has she been to the individual counselor?
She had been seeing Stephanie Dottie, but it was very difficult to get her in. And then the times that Stephanie was able to see her, they were going to pull her out of school and those kinds of things. So that's why we were going to try to get her in with the counselor at school. They were not able to facilitate that. And so I'm not sure if Melissa, if they have reached some sort of, coordinated something for her to start with Melissa. Sarah may be able to answer that.
Okay. Did Jazmine seem okay mentally or mental health wise when you informed her of the placement outside the home? I just want to make sure she has some support.
She was calm. She didn't get angry. She didn't get overly emotional. When we went into the building for her to do her evaluation, she seemed a little stressed, but Sarah was having surgery that day. She was meeting Brenda for the first time and being told she was going to have to do a 2.5 hour evaluation. And so I didn't sense anything out of the normal reaction to those things from her. She's always very polite when I talk to her, very calm. She does talk to me. We've talked about her, being respectful and those kinds of things, listening to Sarah, and she'll say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I've never had any aggression or disrespect or anything, but she's never denied that she is that way in the home and at school. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay. All right. Anything else that needs to be ordered? Anything like that?
No, all we're waiting on is that evaluation.
Okay. Are we wanting to schedule a compliance hearing in a month, in 2 months? Because this does expire December 23rd. So I want to make sure we at least get one more in to talk about it.
I'm fine with doing it in a month because I feel like we'll kind of know where we're at on things by then.
Okay. Judge, if we could just ask for a month out and I'll pass on this.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, basically, Jazmine and Stephanie Dottie, they just weren't clicking. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
So probably, it doesn't sound to me like it would make sense to say, Jazmine, you're going to continue to see her till we come up with something else.
I don't feel like she felt comfortable there. Stephanie has dogs. A lot of therapists bring dogs in, and Jazmine was not necessarily comfortable with that as well, because dog hair and stuff like that is a hazard to Sarah. And so that's something Jazmine immediately picked up on. And I just don't think she felt like she could talk to Stephanie the way she's wanting to talk to a counselor.
Okay. All right. And is Jazmine still working part-time?
Yes, sir, she is.
Okay. All right. Ms. Lucero, questions?
Just a few, Your Honor. Ms. Lewis, as far as this evaluation and placement outside the home, are y'all just looking at High Plains, or, is there room for her there?
They have told me it's kind of, they have openings one day and then the next they don't. They can't hold a spot for someone until they know that they're going to accept placement of her. So the, availability changes day to day out there. But they have submitted the application. Like I said, we're just waiting on that eval. They kind of explained to me once the eval is received, what the process is going to look like. They had already placed Jazmine at Boys Ranch previously, and that was not successful. And so I believe, we had this conversation with Sarah. If High Plains is not an option, then they may be looking into talking to us about turning her over to state custody, into foster care.
Okay, well, if for some reason she does not qualify for High Plains or they don't have room for her, and when y'all go to talk with Ms. White about that, would you include me in those conversations?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right, Ms. Wiggins, anything further from the department?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay. Ms. Lucero, did you have any witnesses?
Your Honor, I don't have any witnesses. I just wanted to let the court know that I had spoken with Ms. White last week. We communicated, and what was set forth by Ms. Lewis, that she believes that's in Jazmine's best interest at this time to look into High Plains. And that's really all we have today, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Ingram, anything to add?
Well, just Andy did talk to Jazmine about High Plains, and she told Andy she was fine with it. I think that'd be a good place for her, and so hopefully that'll work out.
Okay. Okay, then I will order that Ms. White and Jazmine continue to work the services that have been previously ordered. I've got 2 dates for a compliance hearing, November 27th or December 11th.
We could do the November date. That would be great,
Okay.
Judge. Thank
Okay,
you.
then I'll set a compliance hearing for November 27th, 2023. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. We're here on a compliance hearing following an order to participate. I'll be back at 12:30. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram is with us for the children. Mr. Barfield is with us representing the mother, Ms. Pullem, who is also with us. I have Cherie Hughes in the waiting room.
That is my worker, Your Honor. If she could please be allowed in. Who is their mother?
Darcy Pullman.
Okay, and we have an order to participate that was granted on her. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. How is Ms. Pullem doing with her services?
I think she's doing really well. She was very cooperative with me from the beginning. We talked a lot about some of the services that were recommended, and she has been in agreement to do whatever the department recommended. She currently is doing some domestic violence support group, and she's completed 3 of 8 of those sessions. Also, she agreed to do any type of outpatient drug treatment, and she contacted Padre on her own and enrolled in their program. I believe she started that on October the 3rd. Then she also has done the random drug screen that I asked her to do. And then we've asked her to do some individual counseling. We first originally asked her to go to Family Support Services, but they have quite a wait list. So we reached out to Tim Invelson, and she's waiting to get an appointment from him.
Okay. Now, as far as the domestic violence classes, are we asking the court to order those?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Order what?
Domestic violence classes.
Okay.
Now, Cherie, it looks like in your court report, you put 8 sessions of domestic classes, and I'm sorry, 8 sessions of domestic violence classes. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then in your court report, you also mentioned an outpatient substance abuse treatment such as AA or NA. That would be Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. Is that correct?
Yes.
But you just testified that mom is in an outpatient program with Padre. Does that outpatient program with Padre, is that satisfying that outpatient substance abuse treatment recommendation?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so are we asking the court then to order that outpatient substance abuse treatment program with Padre?
Yes, ma'am.
And you mentioned a drug screen by the mom, and did she ever provide a prescription regarding that drug screen?
She did not.
What type of drug screen was that again?
It was a UA.
Okay, and what was it? Was it positive?
It was positive for opioids. The hydromorphone is how it was described, and it was right at the 300 mark, which is the confirmed cutoff, but it did test positive for that.
Okay, did mom have an explanation for that?
She did. She stated that she had an anxiety moment, and her mom gave her that to take. That was her explanation to me. We did discuss this at her last home visit, that and she even mentioned herself
that maybe she should contact Texas Panhandle Centers instead, and get involved with them for something more appropriate for anxiety than medication that her mom has.
Okay, now are we asking the court to go ahead and make that an order of the court for mom to have a medication evaluation through Texas Panhandle Center?
I believe so.
Now, you mentioned that Ms. Pullem is complying and cooperating with the department. Can you give us some more details on that?
Yes, anytime that I text her, she's very good about texting back. Calling is the same way. Anytime I go to the home, she immediately welcomes me in. She was very honest about why she took the drug that her mom gave her. I feel like that's her being open and honest with me, and her admitting that, taking a step further and going to Texas Panhandle Centers would be a good idea for her.
Okay, now, at the time that the order to participate was obtained, the father of the youngest child, Aaron King, was not included as a party. Is that correct?
Correct.
And my understanding is that was because he had left the state. Is that correct?
That was the investigators thought that he had left.
Okay. Is he in fact in Texas?
Yes, he is.
And is he working services voluntarily with the department?
He is.
Okay. Are you able to share what services he is voluntarily working with the department?
He's meeting with me once a month. And then he also is enrolled in BIP. And the department has paid for those sessions already. And then also he's willing to do individual counseling or couples counseling, whichever the therapist that Darcy's going to be seeing would recommend that they do.
Is he drug screening with the department?
He was asked to drug screen, and on our particular drug screens, our supervisor likes for them to be observed. He went on the day that was asked, but apparently there was not a male to observe him drug screening, so they turned him away. And so I was going to just oral swab him when I met him last because he is considered homeless. So he has to meet me at the office. I was going to drug screen him orally, but we were out of those drug screens. So I'm just going to ask him to go again, but tell him that if there's not someone there to observe that's a male, to please have Care Express call me so I can go ahead and give them the okay to let him screen anyway, but he's willing to go.
Okay. You understand that the order to participate has a no contact order for Aaron with the children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which of the children is Aaron's biological children, even if it's just alleged?
Darius is.
Okay. Are we asking the court to consider lifting the no contact provision for Aaron King?
Yes, we would like to do supervised visits at our office.
Now, as far as the children, how is Zacharias doing?
He's doing well. He's enrolled at South Lawn. He would like to be involved in any kind of football or soccer sports on the outside. And we've even kind of talked about maybe seeing if we could get him enrolled in Kids Inc., just to get him involved outside of the home in some kind of sports activity. But he's doing really well.
Okay. And Zanaya?
She's doing well also. She attends daycare at the Imagination Station, and they go there Monday through Friday.
Okay. And what about the baby?
Darius, he's doing well also. He also is at Imagination Station, and he goes there Monday through Friday.
Are there any services that the court needs to order in regards to the children?
Not right now.
And does grandmother continue to supervise the mother's contact with the children?
Yes, they all still live in her home.
Okay. Do you believe that the order to participate is still necessary to ensure the safety of the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we asking for any drug screens today on the mother?
No.
That's the witness.
All right, Mr. Barfield.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
Okay. Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Nothing further on this, Your Honor. I do want to make the court aware that there's a prior temporary order out on the child Zacharias that restricts the mother's visitation out of the 47th District Court of Randall County. This case was filed prior to September 1st, though. So.
All right. Okay, then, Mr. Barfield, did you have any witnesses?
I was just going to briefly call Darcy just to explain her psychiatric situation.
Okay. Ms. Pullem, if you don't mute, please.
Thank you, Judge. Darcy, you provided me with some psychiatric records from Texas Tech physicians this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that indicates, and you have given me permission to provide these records to St. Francis and the court, anybody involved with this case?
Yes.
Okay. And it appears from these records that you saw Elizabeth Rogers back in 2020, and you did have a diagnosis of PTSD and depression symptoms and everything like that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you understand that the court is in all likelihood going to order you to go get another evaluation with TPC and participate in any type of medication services to help deal with that anxiety the proper way?
Yes, sir. I have an appointment already scheduled with TPC tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
Ms. Gutierrez, do you have any questions?
Very briefly, Darcy, who is the alleged father of Zanaya?
It's Julian Caldwell.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does he see her?
No.
Are there any orders on him?
No.
Ask the witness.
Okay, then, Mr. Barfield, did you have any other, I'm sorry, Mr. Ingram, did you have any questions for Ms. Pullem?
No questions.
All right, Mr. Barfield, any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, then, Mr. Ingram, anything you need to add today?
No, sir. Kids appear to be doing well.
Okay. Ms. Gutierrez, do you want a compliance hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
How far out?
Sheree, how far out would we like our compliance hearing? We could either do 2 months or 3 months.
Can we do 3, please?
Okay.
Your Honor, that would put us kind of early January, as long as it's.
Well, I've got a January 22nd, so that's what it will be.
Yes.
So, okay, then I will order Ms. Pullem to continue working the services previously ordered, which she apparently is doing very well. I'll order that she complete the domestic violence classes that she has started already, and that she continue and complete the Padre outpatient drug program, which she has also started. I will order the Texas Panhandle Center's assessment, which she has already set up. So she's doing everything that's been asked of her. And I will lift previously ordered no contact between the children and Aaron King so that the supervised visits can begin. Okay, I will set the compliance hearing for January 22nd, 2024. Ms. Pullem, sounds like you're off to a really good start, and I applaud you for that. So. All right, that will conclude this hearing. We'll stand in recess for those of you involved. Ms. Wiggins is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the child. Mr. Taylor's with us representing the mother, Miss Oakley, who I don't show is with us. And Miss Archer is not with us representing the father, Mr. O'Brien, who I show is incarcerated. Mr. Taylor, were you expecting your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I am expecting her. She has called and said that she's trying to get logged on.
Okay, we'll give her a minute to get logged on. I have Rachel Peoples in the waiting room.
She's my worker, Judge.
Okay, we'll get her in.
Thank you.
And here's Miss Archer.
And how is he doing in his placement?
He's doing very well in his placement.
Okay, and remind me again who he's placed with.
He's placed with Janae and Jerry Oakley. It's his great aunt and great uncle.
Okay, and are they able to take care of all of his current needs?
Yes.
Now, regarding the mother and father, have you been able to communicate with them?
Yes.
And when was the last time you spoke with the mother?
I spoke with Selena on 10/12. So last Thursday.
Okay. And were you able to go over her service plan with her?
On 10/12, I actually asked her to drug screen for me.
Okay. Now, have you created a service plan for Miss Oakley?
I have, yes.
And have you been able to go over that service plan with her?
Yes, I have.
And has she signed the service plan?
She did.
And was she able to ask you any questions that she had about the services?
No, I mean, she complied with all the services.
Okay, so she agreed to work the services?
Yes, she did.
Okay, sorry, my question was probably not a very good one. In regards to the service plan, was it tailored to address the issues of removal?
Yes.
And what are some services on that service plan for Miss Oakley to complete?
We set up an OSAR with Linda Dudley. We got a psychosocial with Jennings Counseling. We have an assessment at TPC set up. And also we have her set up for domestic violence courses with Family Support Services.
Okay. And regarding, you said on 10/12, you called her to ask her to drug screen. Was she able to drug screen that day?
I'm sorry. On 10/12, she contacted me about missing her visit with her son. I asked her to drug screen on 10/9.
Okay, thank you. And did she go drug screen that day?
She did not.
Okay. Have we been able to get a new drug screen since the removal of the child?
No, we have not.
Okay. Are we asking for a hair and UA drug screen?
Yes.
Now, in regards to visitation, how many visits has she had?
She's had them weekly. Sorry, I should have had this number pulled up for you.
Okay. And you said she missed last week, is that right?
Right. She's probably had about 4 or 5 visits.
Okay. And in regards to the visitation, do you know how they're doing or going?
The visits are going well. Yeah, they're going well.
Okay. And regarding the drug screen, how many times have you requested her to drug screen since the removal of the child?
Twice.
And let's see. Have you created a service plan for the father?
I have.
And are those services tailored to fit the reasons for removal?
Yes.
And does that include drug testing and an OSAR evaluation for him as well?
Yes.
And what other services are we requesting for him?
We put the same. We put on parenting, the OSAR, the psychosocial, and assessment with TPC, and we also put domestic violence on there for him too.
Okay, and that would be the BIP program, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, have you been able to go over that service plan with him?
I have.
And has he been able to sign it?
Yes, he did.
Did he seem to understand what we were requesting from him?
Yes, he's currently incarcerated, so he can't really do anything, but he did understand everything.
Okay. Do we have any information on when he'll be released or if he's going to be released or any information regarding that?
I saw him on Friday and I asked him if he knew anything, and he said he still hasn't heard anything about when he would be getting out. So.
Okay. Is there parenting packets that we can take him so he can at least work on that?
Yes, we can do that.
All right. Anything else that the judge needs to be aware of at this time?
Nothing that I know of.
Okay. And regarding the service plans, are we asking that they be made in order of the court?
Yes.
And do you believe it would be contrary to the child's welfare to be returned to either parent today?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Peoples, would it be a continuing danger to the physical health and safety of the child to be returned to either parent today?
Yes.
All right. And where is Mr. O'Brien incarcerated?
He's at Potter.
And do you know what for?
It was physical assault of a pregnant woman, I believe.
So it's a pending charge. It's not like a revocation?
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Taylor, questions?
Yes, John, thank you. I got a little bit confused. You've asked Selena to drug test twice since last hearing?
Yes, I have.
But she hasn't either time?
No, she has not completed them either time I've sent her.
Now, at least one of those times was because when she went to the wrong address. Is that correct?
No, that was for her OSAR evaluation. She went to the wrong address there, we got that sorted out, and she actually has her OSAR. Her next OSAR is tomorrow. So,
Okay, so, but that's been straightened out on rescheduled.
yes.
Did she give you a reason why she didn't go drug test?
Yes, she did.
What did she tell you?
The first time she didn't complete the test because she said that her grandmother was in the hospital and that she needed to leave. And then the second time both of these times she's tried to complete the test, but she couldn't go enough. And the second time she did not complete it. She was there for 2 hours, I believe.
Well, okay, was that the time she actually got picked up and taken to jail and put in jail for a while?
No, that was a different.
Okay, she has spent some time on outstanding warrants.
She did, yes. She went to jail on the 5th.
That was the day she was supposed to start a new job. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Would you say that she's generally been pretty cooperative with you?
I would say generally, yes. I would really like to get a drug screen from her.
And she indicated she is willing to do that. She just hadn't yet.
Yes, she hasn't done that yet.
All right. Thank you, past witness.
Ms. Archer?
When do you think you would be able to take my client, Devin O'Brien, the packets for him to complain? I mean, can I give him a general timeline?
We could get it to him this week.
Okay, great. Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Ingram?
No questions.
All right. Ms. Wiggins, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Archer?
No witnesses.
Ms. Oakley, if you'd unmute, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm going to order you to hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today. Do you have a ride, or does St. Francis need to take you?
More than likely I can get a ride.
Not more than likely. I'll give you a ride if you're going to test today.
Yeah, my aunt just has to get back from dropping her husband off at work.
Okay, so you can get to Care Express on Ross Osage by 4 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. All right then, Mr. Ingram, any recommendations?
Continue department as temporary managing conservator, continue placement as is. Child appears to be doing well in placement.
All right, thank you. Okay, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement. I'll order the services for each parent as contained in their service plans. And I will order Ms. Oakley to both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today. I'm going to order that her visitation be suspended until she completes those drug screens. All right, our next hearing will be the initial permanency hearing. That will be on February 5th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or so in advance of February 5th to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. That will conclude this hearing. For those of you involved, I'll be back.